I went back to the neurologist and he said, Sue, out of the 8 lesions that you had on your brain, most of them had completely disappeared and the rest has significantly diminished, and that was through no medical intervention.
Good evening and welcome. This is Pirate Life Podcast. And my friend Sue Moore, somebody I met at Paleo Effects. And at Paleo Effects, one of the things that I like the most about it is that it's a convention. It's a group of people that are all committed to the same kind of viral, underground, grassroots movement into health and wellness and prosperity for all people. And it's nothing short of that. It's really a fantastic event. And if you ever have a chance to go, you should totally hightail it down to Austin, Texas, and check it out. It'll happen again next spring. And I just loved it. What happened for me is I got to meet a ton of my friends that had been in that business and like in different realms, whether it's Rob Wolf or Mark Sisson or Dr. Kirk Parsley. I met there for the first time and he was just fantastic. I hope you guys have listened to that podcast. At any rate, a ton of people. And then new people. And what's the great thing about surrounding yourself with positive people that are all looking towards the same kind of goals and conditions of your life and standards and values that you're looking to work towards for yourself, for your community, for your families. I always run into more people that I'm like, God damn, they're rad too. And Sue Moore was one of those people. I was watching we were both kind of standing by in the outskirts of the crowd watching a panel of people talk about vaccines. And then Sue brought up celiacs, and she brought up that she got into paleo and kind of primal diets through autoimmune paleo because she has multiple sclerosis and needed to combat that. And I have no idea about any of that illness, how horrific it must be, but she had lesions in her brain, like 8 lesions in her brain. And that needed to be addressed. And she found this out just before she was about to do, I believe it was her first marathon. So she got involved with a woman and a marketing organization called Changing Habits. And you can find Changing Habits on Facebook, and you ought to check it out. They're doing some really good quality, positive things. And the other Facebook page is What's with Wheat. And now the What's with Wheat page, it celebrates a documentary that Sue's friend had made and put out talking about the truth and kind of where wheat has come from and where it's gone and how it's damaging people right now. And at any rate, it's a really cool documentary. So we started talking about it, and then we started talking about her story, and it just evolved into a fantastic conversation. We only had a little bit of time. It was the last day, and they were closing down the Paleo Effects Center. So we had to kind of end abruptly, but it's a little short thing, and I really hope you connect with Sue. I hope you look for her and her organization, Changing Habits, and check out this documentary, What's with Wheat. It debuts free on the internet, and it's really a conversation worth being a part of. Just the more we can expand our education and our knowledge base, and also the more we can expand our hope and our drive towards health. Sue is all but cured herself, and the doctors call it a miracle instead of looking at the step-by-step things that she'd done through changing her consciousness and her diet to actually cure herself. So this documentary, or this podcast, is with my new friend, Sue Moore, straight out of Australia, bringing truth, love, and goodness, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. I just found out last week we were number 25 in the world for the top health and nutrition podcasts on iTunes, and really, really appreciate that. Also want to thank Caveman Coffee for coming out, bringing it strong, and getting me through every damn day. CavemanCoffee.com. Check us out. I'm hoping, crossing our fingers, we're going to be at the CrossFit Games this year, and we'll be shortly up in San Jose for a little event, and if you can do it, or send Jason Klepa a card. We're starting a leukemia. Jason started a leukemia foundation, and we're just raising money to raise awareness and look for cures and different kinds of strategies towards mitigating the dastardly parts of the disease of leukemia. His daughter was afflicted. He found out earlier this year, and he's just one of the most positive guys ever. So we'll be up there, San Jose, July 7th, 8th, 9th, I believe it is. And check out all things. I believe the newsletter, cavemancoffee.com. You can get the newsletter there. Join our Black Sails Yacht Club. This week, or this month rather, we have Natural Stacks being featured. And what Black Sails Yacht Club is just a little thing we do at Caveman Coffee where we partner up with badass people that we know. I know we're going to do paleo fudge soon. Mary Shinada makes this awesome stuff, Fat Fudge. And Fat Fudge is, you can find them on Instagram too. Badass stuff. And just delicious, great ketogenic snack and kind of a superfood, I guess. It's made with a bunch of superfoods, and it is really great. But anyway, Natural Stacks is our collabo this month, and we're sending out some Siltep, great mental acuity and focus and just better brain function with the use of Siltep from a company called Natural Stacks. And so that'll go out with everybody that's on a rotating subscription of coffee at Caveman Coffee. We just give out, we hook up with different people that we also think are badass and cool innovators in the world, and we give out little samples of their product and kind of turn you on to them. So anyway, that's at cavemancoffee.com. God bless y'all, and I hope you enjoy this short little nugget. And please hit up What's With Wheat documentary. Check it out.
A big Tait Fletcher.
Powerful Tait Fletcher.
Is a real alpha male.
Weightlifter.
He's a stuntman.
Movie star.
Robust, enthusiastic individual.
He's huge, by the way. He's like a monster person.
One of the sweetest guys I know.
He's bigger than life.
Actor.
Entrepreneur.
A fighter.
The jiu-jitsu technician.
He's also bald and he has all these tattoos. He's just a big fucking man.
A man, a myth, a legend.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
What's up, Tait Fletcher, you bad motherfucker?
Tait Fletcher. Tait Fletcher is
Tait Fletcher.
Teddy bear motherfucking Fletcher, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Tait Fletcher, everybody.
The great Tait Fletcher. Tait the animal Fletcher. Tait the savage Fletcher. Always moving. There's no stillness with Tait Fletcher. You will find no dust.
Tait Fletcher's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He just said the word erection.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher's in the fucking house. Tait Fletcher!
Tait really blasts out some serious hardcore truth bombs, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Hey guys, welcome to Pirate Life Radio, and as has been happening for the weekend, I get to meet some pretty fantastic people with marvelous stories, and it's been just a full weekend of talking about nutrition and excellence and how people are kind of upping their own game in their life, both for reasons of just trying to get better for the sake of being better at being a human, and then also people that come from backgrounds and other maladies that they really need to have better nutrition in their life. Everybody needs it, but it becomes a real market for some people. A friend of mine that has really bad alopecia and had to go into a paleo diet that spoke to that, and I'm lucky enough to have run into Sue Moore, a friend from Australia, and who has MS. Is that you have or had?
I had.
Okay.
I had.
It's best just to straddle that thing. It's awkward.
Right
I know it's not the most prime way, but we started talking about this What's With Wheat documentary that'll be coming out at the end of June, and then just getting into your story more, and so please tell us a little bit about that. I've always looked at gluten and intolerances therein in a way that was I never thought I had a problem with it until I took it away.
Yeah.
And I think most people are like that. But I had really bad acid reflux, and then I took gluten away, and then I found out, wow, I don't have acid reflux at all, and it was just irritating my body in a way that caused me horrific discomfort.
Yeah.
To where I needed pharmacology to come in and help me. And then when I went completely paleo, I found that I didn't need that anymore. And I think a lot of people have those kinds of experiences, but yours is very different, a different road.
Yeah, totally. So Tait, as I was saying, like probably 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS. I basically had this massive migraine that lasted about 5 hours that left me completely numbed down my right-hand side of my body. And that was 2 weeks out from doing my first marathon. So I thought I was in the prime of my health, and then this happened. So it completely took me by surprise. And after a whole load of tests, like neurologists said that I had MS because they found 8 lesions on my brain. And so I completely cut out gluten, dairy and sugar from my diet. And did a whole load of kinesiology, started meditating daily, and then almost 9 months to the day, I also retrained my body, so I was learning to run again because I wanted to run that marathon, so I was pretty tough and determined. So almost 9 months to the day, I crossed the finishing line of my first marathon, and then a month after that, I went back to the neurologist, and he said, Sue, out of the 8 lesions that you had on your brain, most of them had completely disappeared and the rest has significantly diminished, and that was through no medical intervention. So
now explain MS, what that is exactly, because I've heard the term a lot, but I don't really have any idea what that is or how it affects the body.
Sure. So MS is multiple sclerosis, and it's basically when your whole nervous system is basically, it can't tell the difference between healthy cells and non-healthy cells, so it starts attacking your body. So your whole body, your central nervous system is breaking down.
Wow.
So something internally was a mess, and from the outside you think I was pretty healthy because I was a runner and everything, but it wasn't until that attack that I realized that I had to completely overhaul my whole life, stress as well.
And was there anything like overboard, and like, what was your diet like, or your way of life beforehand? Was it, were there things that you're like, oh, this is a glaring problem, I shouldn't be doing cocaine every night?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, totally.
I mean, of course not, but like, something like that. It's
I'm
like,
not a coke dealer.
all I do is I do chicken McNuggets every day, or whatever.
Yeah, interesting. Like, here's the thing, because I was a runner, I thought my diet was pretty clean, because to get up to that training standard, like, it was pretty clean. So I thought, like, what the, so I realized that probably the main 3, as I said, was gluten, dairy and sugar. I love my chocolate. That would be the biggest thing, the biggest vice, and drinking a bit, but I think my whole body was just saying, no, enough's enough. We're going to give you a real big shot, so you take heed on this. So now I'm on this journey now to help and inspire other people that they can heal themselves from the inside out, and they don't need to pop pills.
And what is the usual treatment for MS? Like what do people that don't go on this like nutrition journey, what do they end up looking like?
Yeah, so great question. Everyone is different, like when they have been diagnosed with that, so there's no one thing fits all, but normally it is what they would do is prescribe drugs to help stop the symptoms, but in my case they didn't know if I would have another attack or not, so it almost felt like playing Russian roulette, like why would you take medication for something that you don't even know might happen in the future?
Sure.
Like, so the probability of that plus all the side effects of the drugs, I just didn't want that in my body. So I went on a mission to find a more healthy route.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's a brave thing to go outside. Like, it's got to be daunting. Like, you get something like that that's super serious. I mean, to me, it's like super serious.
Yeah.
And to go against, to go outside of what medical help has to offer, was that a hard decision for you? I mean, a lot of people, and especially generationally, I know things that, like, there's things that are tangent to the medical community that aren't taught in hospitals or taught in schools towards becoming an MD. And like, my mother would be hesitant to go outside of those kinds of things and go, well, they've always prescribed this, and we're like, well, these get bad results, they don't really help anything. She's like, it's what the doctor says though, or there's that whole kind of thing. I mean, I sat with a woman who was suffering and dying from cancer, and but pot was illegal, and like a lot of the kids had gotten into trouble with pot, and that's all she knew, and so she's like, no, I'm going to go ahead and take oxycodone or whatever instead, even though she got horrible results from that. And so it's a huge departure to be brave enough to go out and explore. And what brought you to that place, or to be that kind of person?
I think just following my gut, Tait, to be honest. I just thought that, like I said, it just didn't feel right to put medicine in my body that wasn't guaranteed that it would cure anything. So I just thought, like, I feel that your body is like an amazing thing. If it, like, we're created, and it pumps our heart and our lungs and everything, but we don't think consciously of making blood cells. It just happens automatically. And I thought, for some higher purpose, it's created this for a reason. So if I can create it, I can actually uncreate it. So there was a lot of mindset shifts around that, and through my meditations I actually visualized every single morning. I visualized going back to that neurologist office and having a chat with him, and seeing the before and after of my scans, before with 8 lesions and then after with none.
Crazy.
And I visualize that every day. So it's almost like, for me now, for anything like in life, and for your listeners who want to set goals, have a clear intention, visualize or mentally rehearse what you do want to achieve, and then act as if. So be that person who's actually had those results, and like to do that on a daily basis. So that I probably think, combined with the paleo diet, that really helped. Kinesiology, to get rid of all the emotional crap that was still in my body.
Explain that a little bit.
Kinesiology, it's like, how to describe it?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Do you know?
Yeah, actually, a good friend of mine, Sarah Manzani from the UK, she started
Wait a minute, Australia and the UK?
I know.
Is this some secret stuff that Americans can't get?
Special speaking people,
God damn it.
The Queen's
you gotta
language.
have a fancy
Yeah,
accent.
she's been dealing with it a lot with her mother passing and her mother being ill, and it really was groundbreaking for her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it's basically emotional blocks that subconsciously you might not think something is an issue, but it's trapped in your body. That's the best way of describing it. So it's non-invasive treatment, and it's muscle testing.
Okay.
So like really on all parts of your body, like a similar thing, and finds blockages in your bodies, and then cures them.
Yeah, talk through it and do all that. Yeah, she actually said it was generational for her, and they went through this whole lineage of her family and figured out this thing, and then she seems to be the healthiest person in her family now, and has solved a lot of her the issues that were told to her that would be genetic are now not affecting her, which is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Were you in a community that kind of spoke this language, or you know what I mean? Because I would never find a kinesiologist, or I would not. And until I got really into health, really, I wouldn't have found I don't know how I even stumbled upon paleo.
Yeah.
But was anybody speaking about paleo or about nutrition, and nutrition as a way to heal yourself? In your circles?
Some of my friends are. I think I gravitated to more of alternative health, even before this happened. My husband is open to that as well as he was, I support you going down this route, but let's listen to the medics as well. So I had a number of friends that were kinesiologists, so I was aware of that. And the one I ended up with, I actually went on MS Society in Australia, and I actually found Amanda Campbell, who was a MS ambassador, and she actually was paralyzed with MS, and she got herself back to health again through kinesiology and paleo diet and a whole load of other things. And now she's on a mission to help other people she's actually retrained as a kinesiologist, so I actually went to her. And so that's how that tied in.
The only when you said that to me, I really perked up when we were earlier at the convention.
Yeah.
One of the first guys that I ever did jiu-jitsu with, Alberto Crane, he just got diagnosed, and he's in his late 30s, I would say, and he just got diagnosed with MS, and he talked about the paleo diet. Well, we hadn't spoken in years. We'd had a huge falling out, and then. And we kind of got brought back together through diet and nutrition in a way, and it's really interesting to see about this whole conversation of food bringing us back to health, as opposed to like Dr. Presley earlier was talking, or Dr. Parsley rather, that like he was finding about, he talks about sleep deprivation and the nefarious effects that can have on you, and he's like, nobody has an Ambien deficiency. No, like there's not like you're like, oh, I've got a Prozac deficiency, I just need to up my and all these things, and talking about coming from a single cell of health, and going into wellness, and what does that look like, and so what has gotten in the way towards wellness for us, and the unweaving of that is fantastic to hear about, because I think it gives hope. Like when you're talking about the visualization, was it difficult to keep hope?
Oh yeah, totally. It's like it was almost, I was clear where I was, clearly, because black and white, the scans don't lie, but I was very clear where I wanted to be. I didn't know how, but I had to have 110% belief that I could do it, and just trust in the universe that the how and everything would just unfold. But just to keep that vision clear, some days was crappier than others.
I bet. I can't even imagine.
But, and especially, going through like work still, like serious deadlines that I had at work, and I still had to complete those, and then in the evening fall apart in a heap.
What was your work?
It's marketing for a charity. Yeah. So,
And so now has this kind of become your life?
Totally. Yeah. And just really, I think the bigger picture for me is really to help others understand that their own body-mind connection, and to know that they can heal themselves from the inside out, and just to trust that, tune into your body, and like, our ailments, a headache or knee pain or whatever, is a sign from your body that something is wrong, and to listen up. Don't go for the latest, headache tablet or Rennies or whatever to quell the symptoms. Just look at the cause and treat the cause.
And so now, how would you describe your job, or the way you make a living in the world?
Way I make a living in the world. Do you want to talk about? Yeah. So I currently work for a company called Changing Habits, and we've currently put together a documentary which is due to be released. Very exciting. It's due to be released at the end of June. It's called What's with Wheat, and we've got 14 global experts talking about the current wheat industry and how wheat isn't how it used to be.
Have you ever read The Omnivore's Dilemma?
No.
Oh, it's pretty great. It's about corn in the same way, but it's interesting the way all these commodities, which are not bad in and of themselves, become they just chew up the world, and when they get out of control as commerce, as a commodity, and it's interesting that, I can't wait to see this documentary. It happens June 24th to the 30th, and there's an online screening you can register for at whatswithwheat.com. But I look forward to that, because it's like this whole, not that capitalism is bad as it is, but it becomes a carnivorous thing if it's not tempered with humanity in some kind of way. And
totally.
And I would imagine that's kind of what this is about.
Absolutely, and it's really just about educating and helping people be aware of their food choices, and looking at the history of wheat, and how wheat is in everything, not just in our food, but even into our cosmetics, which I didn't realize, as fillers for your foundation and everything. So if people do have a gluten sensitivity, cutting out like wheat in their food, might not be okay. They might have to look at the more holistic picture.
Amazing.
And it's not a case that like all wheat is bad. Obviously, if you get back to the ancient traditional wheat, it's just that the current wheat industry now, with all the pesticides.
Available? When everybody says that, they're like, the wheat before 1950 or whatever. I'm like, it's 2016 now. Do you have some of that? You got the secret stash? Like, it's not available. When people speak of that, it's just simply not available. Not in America anyway. I know people in other countries say, oh, in France that doesn't have an effect on me like that or whatever. But we don't experience that here, and apparently you don't in Australia either.
Yeah, we've actually we found a producer down in Victoria in Australia that supplies Emma wheat.
Really?
So, yeah, and
So it is available.
Totally. I don't know about America.
Awesome.
But the documentary is really more of an education, looking at the whole process of the wheat industry now and how the crops are sprayed with chemicals.
Right.
And that's...
Well, and the seeds are modified and everything's modified. And then if one farm has a GMO seed and it's next to another farm, the cross-pollination that happens, it just destroys. It's a parasite.
Yeah, totally. So it's not as if you're having the food in your body anymore. It's like you're really digesting all your chemicals and your body can't cope with the chemicals, which is causing a number of these issues that we talked about earlier and a whole load of other health issues.
Do you think the chemicals are what caused the brain lesions for you? Do you think that was...
Oh, wow. That's a... Look, I don't know. I think maybe stress as well. It's hard to point on one thing. Genetically, I feel my mum died of rheumatoid arthritis. My sister was diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 18. They're all in the autoimmune strain, so you could definitely say genetically. Same with my grandmother, died of rheumatoid arthritis, so that's 3 generations now. And if you look at the film, depicts a number of other families that like that. If you look at like your own or friends who have got these diseases, if they look back, it's not just happening.
It's not like a secular event in that embodiment.
No.
It makes me think even more. We talked to a friend of mine, Scotty Nelson, and he and Ed Clay, they were both fighters, and they started a hospital down in Mexico about cancer research and how to remediate that and drug addiction and a lot of it through cleansing and through they do hyperbaric chambers. They do a lot of different treatments, but I think even like I consider myself pretty healthy, but it's like I want to go and become, because your body's a set of filters and it's always filtering through disease and environmental pollutants, and it might behoove me after having lived 40 years to go ahead and cleanse that filter. You know what I mean? I changed the air filter in my car.
Yeah.
Maybe my filters need to, and it's called thehopehospital.com is where you can find it. But those kinds of things, I would hope that they become more prevalent too, because I think that, to get ahead of these things, of course, is the best way, right? But I think how amazing your mind must be. I look at you and marvel.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, because to have the mind that where your belief is so strong and to stay in the fight day after day of having things start to fall apart and go, no, I'm going to believe myself into wellness in this way, along with these, and it's not just, a lot of people do that and they go, I tried to believe and it didn't work, but like to follow that up with action and to go to do right constructive action towards it, I think is such a vital thing, man.
And then to lead it for other people, to like serve an example, because like some people grow up in a world where all they know is what their doctor says or what they're told to do, and so it's just like we're drones walking around, and some people would say like zombie-like almost, and it's so empowering to see other people doing different things. It opens someone's mind. Even if it's just like 1 or 2 people, they start to think about asking different questions and being more in control of themselves and their body and taking that responsibility. And I think a lot of us lack that responsibility because we're told that the doctors will figure it out or whatever. But just talking to some doctors earlier that said we don't know. Like we actually don't know. We're just taught how to deal with disease from a give a pill type of standpoint. We don't really know, so it's up to you and as an individual, and having other people in the world doing that and leading that and having a voice out there is so powerful.
Yeah, totally. And I agree, like nobody knows your own body like you do.
Yeah.
And it's taking that control back of your own destiny. You know, like don't put your life in the life of a doctor or everyone's doing the best advice that they can give you, but you better than anyone else.
Right. Were there people around you that were like, what are you doing? Why would you go that route? Why aren't you getting the treatment?
Yeah, I won't name names, but some
people get emotional about
stories in there.
No, I won't name names, but I actually heard somebody said to me that Sue, you better sell your house because it's a 2-story house and you might want to look at the future.
Right.
Wow.
You're not going to make it up the steps anymore.
Thanks,
yeah,
friend.
totally. And I just said, yeah, that's great. That's in your mind. I'm not going there.
Yeah, good for you.
So, yeah.
Well, they're all cleaning up. We're going to be kicked out of the center soon. But
cool.
I'm glad that we took a minute.
Yeah.
And I look forward to speaking to you again. And thank you so much. Where can people find you if they have questions for you personally?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
I have a website called www.runsuerun.com. And I've actually published a book which has my journey in. It actually is quite raw in some parts. So it took a lot for me to put it out there because I'm quite a private person. But you can jump on Amazon, and it's called Just Another 5K.
Amazing.
Great. So runsuerun.com?
Yeah, .com. And then the book is
Just Another 5K.
Yeah.
So powerful. Thank you so much. And also the documentary that we're speaking of that kind of brought us together.
Yeah.
What'swithwheat.com.
Yeah.
And again, that'll be a worldwide global screening the 24th to the 30th. Don't miss it, fuckers. Check it out.
So good.
And,
definitely.
and the whole thing, I think the whole journey is about, developing our consciousness to become aware so that we can help ourselves as opposed to, automatically going, what do I take to do that? And this really, this learning that we're all in is such a marvelous thing, and really appreciate your journey and your courageousness, and thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Tait.
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.